are in the video game zone. Boop, 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 boop. Welcome to the video game podcast. And today we're going to be talking about all the hot video game news. We're going to end with Pokemon, which means we're going to talk for like 5 full minutes about everything else. First of all, the Sony State of Play was the most boring 45 minutes of my whole life. There was a new Resident Evil 4 trailer. Do you remember Luis? The other character?
Yes, I do.
He just like dies off camera. He's not going to die off camera this time. They showed footage of him at the end of the game. They
dying?
No, like fighting with you, which was cool. They took out the line where he comments on Ashley's boobs, which like, please, yes, thank you. They showed off that Mercenaries mode is back. No news on Operation Ada or Separate Ways, but that's still coming out. Very much looking forward to that game. Everything else they talked about during the Sony State of Play was like bore-worthy. Like, and now we're gonna end with a 15-minute demonstration of the new Suicide. Like, fuck off. Just no one cares.
I'm gonna save what I have to say for our weeks. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It just Sony. You said Sony, and it reminded me.
Speaking of not Sony, but a Sony subsidiary, just today, let me find the picture. Just today, Yosuke Matsuda has stepped down as president of Square Enix, and he has been he's being succeeded by Takeshi Kiryu, which is a name I'm not familiar with. But yeah, that guy's gone. That guy's in.
I wonder why.
I wonder why too. They didn't really give a reason. So a lot of people have been like Square Enix has gone like full into like NFT support. So people are hoping / thinking maybe that has something to do with it. Like maybe they're gonna fucking stop doing that soon.
Sure.
But also, if you remember, in the last year, Square Enix just like they like sold all their assets except Final Fantasy or something like that. It seems like they're making some moves internally over there. So hopefully, whatever they're doing pans out for them. A couple of weeks ago, you and I talked about the fact that Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo are not going to be at E3.
Yes.
And in a hilarious bit of news, Ubisoft is going to be at E3.
Solid. Well, somebody had to be there.
The joke is real. I feel like I even might have made that joke. If not, I like was thinking it like, of course they are. Like, what? I don't know what I.
Well, they're paying for people to be in the audience, anyways.
No, that was Bethesda, and
Bethesda
is part of Microsoft now, so
right.
We won't have to sit through that ever again. Goodbye, Commander Keen video game.
Unless Microsoft doubles down.
Commander Keen phone game,
and they start paying people.
Well, yeah, Microsoft. If the Activision Blizzard deal does go through, like I'm hoping it does, we might be looking at like a 2.5 hour long Microsoft E3 press conference, which I might not be upset about if it's fucking jam packed with. Anyways,
Right.
Let's talk about Pokemon. What a terrible week to be a Pokemon fan. So Pokemon Day, February whatever. It was this Monday, so it's February. What is that? February 27th was Pokemon Day. And I wanna set the stage. There was a lot of stuff I was like expecting, and I don't want to.
We were all speculating a lot of things.
Well, that's the thing, and here's what I'm not saying, that this presentation was bad because it didn't meet my expectations. I don't want to come off as one of those people. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I wanted this stuff, and I didn't get it, and now I'm sour about it. That's not what happened at all. Here's what I was expecting. And I felt like these were all pretty low ball, like easy mode stuff.
For the record, I know nothing about what happened on Pokemon Day.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for...
I get my news from Thunder and Lightning Gaming.
I wanted an update for Scarlet and Violet, one that makes the game better, one that introduces connectivity with other games, so you can trade with Legends Arceus and all that stuff.
They said
right?
That was coming in March.
So we're going to get to that.
Okay.
And I was hoping for this one was the one that I was like, this probably won't happen, but it would be cool. I wanted some Pokemon games on the Switch. The Game Boy, they just announced Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff. I was like, that'd be cool.
That's the one I was hoping for.
But you could agree that that's the one where it's like, that'd be cool, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, there was just a fuck ton of nothing. So the stream opens with the usual, like, here's an update for all the apps no one plays. Here's an update for Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Go and Pokemon Cafe Mix or whatever the fuck it's called. Great. Good for that. You can play a Sprigatito and Cafe Mix. Big fucking whoop. No one cares about those. We all sleep through that. This presentation, by the way, was 23 minutes long. Then they talked about a new TCG set, except it's not new. It's a special, like, ancillary remake of the first set. It looks
Didn't they just do that?
You'd think, right? Yes, this is like the 4th or 5th time they're going to remake an entire set. This time, I will give them this. It's a little different.
Okay.
The point of this is not like, we're re-releasing old cards. Add them to your deck. The point of this is like, the cards are going to have their old shitty stats. You're going to carry this in like a briefcase as if it were a board game, right? So that's more of the feel of it, where it's like, we're going to play classic Pokemon now. Let's open our classic Pokemon set, play around, put it all back in its box, and then go do something else.
That's already a thing, though. It's called Pokemon TCG Legends.
What do you mean?
Isn't it? I mean, there's expanded, there's modern, and there's all different tiers.
But this is just a new, like, more accessible way to, like, you just have them all in one spot, you know? Like, what you're referring to is, like, you can play with old cards. And what this is we're going to remake all the old cards the way they used to look. A lot of people complaining about the fact that, like, every fucking time they do this, it just depreciates the value of that super rare Charizard card, specifically.
Thank God I already sold mine. Do you guys still play Pokemon Go? I
never
in
did.
A long time. Yeah, Anthony never did. I haven't in a long time.
Do you still have it downloaded?
No.
Interesting.
I mean, my account's still that. Like, if I got it again, I could get into my account. I liked Pokemon Go. I wanted to play a real Pokemon game.
Yeah, and now that you have, do you understand my frustration with Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always like the exercise aspect of it most. And when I go on my walks, which I walked anyways, I got to play a fun little game.
I keep forgetting that's, like, a big part of it was getting out there and stuff.
If I sat in the house, I probably would have gotten bored of it real quick. What I liked about Pokemon Go is there were real world limits. I couldn't get a Farfetch'd living in North America.
Right.
I had to trade with somebody. Or, like, Matt went on vacation once and he got me a region lock. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That is pretty cool.
I liked that aspect of it, and I liked that it got me. It made my walks more fun. I haven't played in a while. I forget why. Really, I forget why, but I haven't. This Pokemon TCG remake is definitely going to be super expensive, right?
Oh, also that,
so is it like a board game?
It's.
Are they setting it up like, here, buy Pokemon TCG Classic, the board game?
They're not calling it that, but that's basically like you're not going to keep this set with all your cards. You're going to keep this set on the board game shelf, where it's like, it's supposed to be like, remember how Pokemon the TCG used to be played? Of course you don't, because it's 30 years old. Well, or 35 or something like that. Here is all the original cards, and it even looked like they were like in their own like sleeves that they can't be removed from or something like that. I don't know.
So these are like just not Pokemon cards.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is not a like, take this home, open it up, put all these cards in your other decks you already have. This is like, you have one, I have one. We sit down, we open the game, we play a game. We're like, that was fun. Do we want to play again? No. Okay, we put all the pieces back in the board. We close it. We shelf it.
Yeah, that Charizard is gonna plummet.
This is, I believe, I read the 8th time they've reprinted this Charizard.
Yeah, I mean, he was going for huge money before the most recent release, and I sold him after. I still got decent money. I sold 2.
Yeah, but you also didn't have isn't there like there's Charizard, but then there's like fuck up Charizard?
I didn't have the no Shadow Hollow.
Right, yeah. But normal Charizard still was going for a penny.
I got roughly $200, not graded.
For each?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
For both.
A piece.
Yeah, for each.
Yeah,
200
yeah.
each. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I kept them in good condition.
So then, they announced
Eight-
Pokemon.
800 graded. I should have got them graded.
Damn. Yeah.
They could have offered me 800
Right.
graded.
So they announced Pokemon Sleep. And I use the word announced lightly because they announced Pokemon Sleep 4 years ago. It's finally a thing. This is an app. This is an alarm clock app.
Oh.
And you wake up, and it wakes you up by going, wake up, it's an alarm clock. And then you look at your screen, and you're like, oh, there's Pokemon on my screen. I'm going to poke at them for a few seconds. All right, time to start my day.
Wait, can you actually poke them?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't fucking know.
Listen,
Pokemon
if you can
Sleep,
poke them.
the Pokemon Sleep segment of the Pokemon Day 2023 presentation was 6.5 goddamn minutes long, and they showed me an app that I'm never gonna buy, and I don't know anyone who's gonna buy it because who gives a shit?
It's not free?
Yeah, it's free.
Oh, I mean, if I can poke them on, I'm gonna poke them on.
No, you can't literally.
Listen!
You can't literally poke them. I was being. Your Pokemon are gonna like. What it really looked like was you turn the sleep app on, you let it go, it wakes you up. When you wake up, your little avatar is asleep with other Pokemon that found you and you're like asleep now, and then maybe you can catch them. I don't even think catching them is part of it.
See, it'd be cool. I don't know. It'd be cool if they could connect that to like Pokemon Go or something.
No, it's absolutely not. Oh no, I just lied to you. It is gonna connect to Pokemon Go, but you need a fucking thing. You need like a toy.
Oh, their little bracelet.
They're making. What was that called? Pokemon Go. What was the bracelet called?
I forget.
Pokemon Go. Was it called Pokemon Go Plus?
Maybe. I know what you're talking
Whatever it's called, they're making it again, but it's called like Pokemon Plus Extra or something like that. Like it's just a new. It was
Plus
just the same.
Wait. Plus extra. No. Plus
Ultra.
ultra.
So that looked really bad and lame, and no one's gonna give a shit about it. Then they were like, and now let's talk. What has Mason got?
Mason says Pokemon Go Plus is the new one. Wait a minute.
It's just
really
called Pokemon Plus Plus.
Pokemon Go Plus, in plus written out, then plus.
Oh
plus
my
sign.
God. Okay, cool, great. So then they were like, all right, idiots, we're going to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I was like, yeah. Like an idiot. So they announced that Pokemon Home compatibility, which is you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Is coming early 2023, which is right the fuck now. So I don't know what they mean by that. And when they say Pokemon Home compatibility, they mean with Sword and Shield.
Oh no.
I don't believe Shining Pearl, Brilliant Diamond was ever mentioned. What was definitely not mentioned was Legends Arceus, because they also announced DLC for Pokemon, which we're going to get into in a sec. And the pre-order bonus for the DLC is the Hisuian Zoroark from that game, which kind of is pretty telling to me that they're not going to make it so those two games can link, which is like wildly upsetting on a personal level.
I'm also Sword and is that the only game that's ever gonna be compatible with this game?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like from what I saw, they only, for now, the products, the service isn't out yet, obviously, but they only mentioned Sword and Shield, and then from there is a way to get a bunch of like way old Pokemon up through all that and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure they only mentioned Sword and Shield, but maybe they just did that like as shorthand and we're going to find out more about it later or something like that. I don't know, but I was very confused by early 2023 because it's early 2023 right the fuck now.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. You could get old Pokemon to Sword and Shield, and then from there.
Was Mason got? Did I fuck it up?
Arceus in Diamond and Pearl, Brilliant, and the other one.
Yeah.
Are able to be brought to home, so the ones that are compatible from that should be able to be brought to Scarlet and Violet. I see what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
You put those in home. That's how I thought the system worked. You put those in the home, the old folks' home.
Yeah. And then you could just grab them as long as they're compatible.
As long as the game itself is compatible to home, I think you can take take and choose whatever you want from home.
That still says to me we're not going to get Hisuian versions of Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because they were like, you get the Zoroark one as a bonus if you want it. And then also, so they did announce DLC. I'm gonna actually talk about it in a second. But they announced DLC, and they announced that just like they did with Sword and Shield, along with the DLC is gonna be like, I think 400 plus new Pokemon are gonna be added to the game, which is super exciting. And hopefully through that, all the Pokemon that are in Brilliant Diamond and stuff. Because right now, if you wanted to bring over your team, you can't bring over Machamp. You can't bring over Alakazam. Just thinking off the top of my head, there's still a lot of
paid DLC.
Yeah. The DLC they announced is paid DLC, but I can only assume that stuff like that might be coming out in an update. I don't know, because they didn't mention anything about an update. That's the other thing. No mention of an update that's going to fix anything. Like, we know we fucked our game up. Here's an update. Nothing on that. This DLC. So it's they're doing it the exact same way they did it before. There's 2 waves. One's called, this, and one's called this. There's going to be brand new Pokemon. I'm pretty sure they said 200 each. And when I say new, I mean old Pokemon.
Right.
But then there's also going to be new Pokemon. They announced 5 new Pokemon. They announced 2 legendaries. One is like a weird grass mask looking thing. One is this like really neat like iridescent turtle thing. And then the other 3, they kind of go together. It's like a monkey, a dog, and a bird, and their names are like their names. Maybe I'll look it up in a sec, but their names are like, oh, I am gonna look it up. One of them is like Okie Dokie, like it's stuff like that. Hold on, new Pokemon Okie Dokie, those ones. Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, we got a whole page. Yeah. So we got. Well, if they're gonna give me pictures, I'll show you guys too. We got Ogerpon, which is the mask I was talking to you about. That's the legendary for one of the DLC packs, and then we've got Terrapagus, which is one of the legendaries for the other DLC pack, and then we have Okie Dokie, Monkey Dory, and Pheasantipity, which are all plays on Okie Dokie, Hunky Dory, and Serendipity. So here's Okie Dokie, looks exactly like the swole dog meme. And then we've got Monkey Dory. You can see they all have like that purple thing on them. And then we've got Pheasantipity, which is this thing, which actually kind of looks pretty cool. So those are the like new Pokemon that they're. And then part 1 is called the Teal Mask, part 2 is called the Indigo Disc, and these DLCs are going to be released in fall and winter
of this year.
Okay. That's so fucking late. That's so late. Why is this the new standard? I'm wondering, because like Resident Evil 8 Village DLC came out like 2 full years after the game came out, and I was like, oof, that's a really long time to wait, guys. They just yesterday or 2 days ago announced Elden Ring DLC is in development. They announced it as in development. That game came out of June of last year, and now Pokemon is like, yeah, we got DLC coming out. The first one of 2 is going to be out a full year after the game released. I don't know why. Is this still layover from COVID? Like, why is a full year and change the new standard for DLC to be released?
No, if they're just getting into production, it's definitely not COVID. There's been plenty of time, unless they had to make money. I'm thinking Elden Ring specifically, unless they had to make money off of it to then proceed with then I can see it being COVID related. But, I mean, this is a conversation that I've been having with you for a while, which is I don't hold the professionalism in the video game industry very high. I think they do whatever they feel like, and they change the rules whenever they want. Because when it comes to this type of media, movies have been around for over 100 years. They're still pretty fresh. They're still 30 years into modern gaming is pretty much, the profession has only been around for 10, 15 years. the way it's being handled now. And I just think they're okay with being loosey-goosey with the rules. That's why when it comes to these events, when dates get announced or dates get obscured, I don't hold a lot of stock into it. And yeah, it seems like they're cool with making games forever. And you're right, it is way too late.
Well, that's the thing. If this Pokemon game, the perfect example, the new Fire Emblem game, it came out in January. It's about next week they're releasing Wave 3 of a planned 4-wave DLC pack. That's pretty consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game came out in November. Nothing. February stuff's gonna come out in fall. It's just like if this game was constantly coming out, sure, the games as a service is a whole different conversation. But why did you release a game, go, have it, and then all this time, and then stuff and now buy more games?
No, I hear you. Mason says the fact that this DLC is $30 makes me think there will also be a second one next year.
Interesting. Okay. So it's $30 for both. That is cheaper, right? Than last time. I think it was $30 for each last time, or something ridiculous. That is an interesting thought. Oh, I did also. There's a new event in Pokemon. They added 2 new Paradox Pokemon, one for Suicune and one for Virizion, which is, compared to everything else, barely even news. But that's the only thing I didn't mention yet. But yeah, I don't know. I just I started to see this because I've been a fan of this industry for a long time, right? I started to see this trend with release dates not meaning anything. And it's the start of it for me was Kingdom Hearts 2, because they gave Kingdom Hearts 2 a release date, and then for 2 full years I was like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 is coming out. Then a month before it, they delayed it, and then that game got delayed 4 times, well into the next year of its release date. And then I was like, that's very interesting that can happen. Now that I'm an adult, obviously I know that Kingdom Hearts 2 was delayed because it wasn't finished, and they wanted to release a good game, and the game that they did release was very, very good. People still call it the best Kingdom Hearts game. But now we're getting to the point where I'm sitting at E3, I'm watching everything, and everything says coming soon, or it just says 2024. My friend Alex and I, early on in our E3 watching, we were like, there should be a rule. If your game is not planned to be released before the next E3, then don't talk about it at this E3.
Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of where my problem lies, is it's the Wild West. Anybody can do whatever they feel like. They can even hire plants in the audience to get hyped about their... I know I made that joke already.
That's
but
why I'm
there's got to be more standards and rules. Imagine if a movie
that's why
got
I'm
delayed.
Okay. That's why I'm perfectly okay with your movie analogy, because you're right. Movies will get delayed, sure, but not
people
this much,
are aghast when movies get delayed.
Right.
Are you kidding me? You
But
do
you
that
take
shit like a play in my theater right
No,
now.
there's
What do you mean you delayed the movie?
There's I think we're getting away from the topic a little bit. There's a format in film because it's such an old media at this point. But video games, it really just feels because there's different, I don't know. It's just there's AAA games, and then there's indie games, there's everything in between. Indie games kind of have their own rules with when they can release stuff, because some indie games are literally just made by one dude.
In that conversation, I redact my comments.
When we bring indie games into it,
I'm talking AAA games.
Yes, and even when we're just talking about AAA games, it's a perfect entry point for this conversation is looking at Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush, it just came out. I talked about it recently. I think it might be my favorite game of all time. All that stuff. I gave it high praises. That game was in development for 3 years. It was announced and released on the same day. 0 bugs. Everyone loves it. And then you cut to Pokemon Scarlet is a perfect example of a game that was announced a year and a half before it was released, which is not that big of a window. Got delayed ? I don't think Scarlet and Violet was delayed, but then it's released and it's a buggy mess, And I can only assume the developers are like, okay, let's release it and wait. We'll see how much money we make and we'll see fan response. And they're like, okay, we did make a lot of money. Nobody likes the game. Let's do DLC later. I just don't. I personally don't understand. I don't know. It's funny that not funny, but it's like it's. I like that you brought up the fact that video games are the wild west when it comes to releasing and delaying and stuff. Because it feels like Nintendo, modern day Nintendo, is like the even deeper, wilder west that we don't talk about. like they just sometimes they'll knock it out of the park. Like with Fire, speaking solely not on the quality of games, solely on releasing and announcing and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll knock it out of the goddamn park, like they just did with Splatoon 3 and Fire Emblem Engage. And then sometimes they're like, we released the same Kirby game again. It's $60 and we didn't change anything about it. It's just the game again. Sorry. And then sometimes they'll do this shit where it's like a brand new Pokemon experience that we've been working on for years. It's totally broken and we refuse to fix it, but we will give you paid DLC way after you already don't give a shit about it.
No, it's messed up. I'm with you. I don't know. I from a professional stance, I don't know what else to say. It's just the whole industry, the industry as a whole needs to take a look at itself with these types of situations. I've been saying that for years at this point, though, but
I think it's finally getting to the point where I'm willing to hear you out. You know what I mean? Like, you've been saying that for years, and I will defend the industry up to a certain point, and I think that point was probably back in 2019. And like I'm starting to not side with you. There was never a side, but we weren't at odds about this. But I'm starting to really be like, yeah, you're basically right. Like you basically on the nose with it right now.
Well, once it's acceptable, here's because I knew this conversation would come to this head, because once you've accepted as an industry that I know we said this was gonna happen, but it's not, and everybody's like, okay, and you do it again and you get no response. Now you're gonna test the limits. You're gonna say, well, okay, it's gonna come out that year,
right? Well,
all right.
you really handicap yourself, because you announce the thing starting to get people talking about it, so they'll be hyped for your game, and then you say, oh shit, oh fuck, we announced it too soon, we're gonna have to delay it, and then you delay it, and probably at this point in time, very small percentage of people is like, oh, you're gonna delay it? Well, I'm not excited anymore.
Right.
Which is, maybe that person take it a little you could still be excited for the game if you want. You're just going to get it later.
Well, that's the thing. You need more disgruntled fans and more disgruntled people in the industry being like, you've got to hold yourself to a higher standard when it comes to this.
Right. No, that's, and I once again want to ring the praises of Xbox and what they're doing. I think that maybe it doesn't seem like it now, but I think that Xbox is right there with you. I think Xbox is thinking the exact same way you're thinking. I don't think it's a coincidence that Hi-Fi Rush was developed secretly and released by a company that is owned outright by Microsoft and was only released on Xbox. Because I think that someone higher up, probably Phil Spencer himself, because he's very hands-on, was like, this game looks incredible, finish it. And then we'll announce it maybe even the day it comes out. And we'll only do it on Xbox so it's easier to develop. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. And even over the years, the film industry is also kind of I can't tell you how many films I see unless they're huge names. I always get, coming spring of, coming summer of, coming Christmas, even though they don't actually mean Christmas, they mean December.
They mean winter. Yeah, they mean December, yeah. Yeah, so Langwell says, part of me wonders if the Pokemon studio sees the DLC as the equivalent of the second game, like the Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Ultra Moon of the, so they put that out a year later. That's an interesting, that's definitely, I can definitely see if that were the case, I could definitely see that being the case, because you're right. There was no Pokemon Gun. There was no third Pokemon Sword and Shield game. There was no, and it looks like there's not going to be a Indigo, Pokemon Scarlet Violet, whatever. It does seem like they're doing that. I don't think that means that they're allowed to price it so high. It seems like this one might be reasonably priced, and the last one absolutely was not. Because I remember having a conversation with you before we even had a channel. No, it wasn't before we had a channel, because I reviewed Sword and Shield on our channel. But if you remember, I really didn't like that game. For my own personal reasons. It's just not it's not where I wanted them to go with it, but that's not the conversation we're having. And then they announced the DLC. I was like, oh, fuck. The DLC, looks good, and I kind of want to play it, but it costs more money. And I went to you, my best friend and, video game partner, and I was like, what do I do about this? I'm kind of conflicted. I want this. And you were just basically like, don't buy that DLC. If the game is going to be good after you've spent double the amount of money on it, don't buy it. And I was like, that's a good point. And then I never played Sword and Shield again. And I never bought the DLC. I hear it was hype.
Good.
No, yeah, I never did. I hear it was pretty cool. I'm not going to experience it. I am going to buy this because I really, really like Scarlet and Violet. And as much complaining as I am doing, it seems like the DLC is reasonably priced. It's just not coming out.
Well, you seem to have liked Scarlet. Violet.
I love Scarlet and Violet, so I'm definitely gonna get the DLC. But
that's a different story. See, the difference between this game has its issues, but you enjoy it.
I did.
You did not like Sword and Shield, and that's why I was like, well, even if it is good this time, you already spent money on a bad product as far as you're concerned.
Right.
That's not my take on the game.
I
don't
say
know.
I know a lot of people like Sword and Shield. Everyone knows that Scarlet and Violet is buggy. I personally didn't like Sword and Shield. I will say that.
So, how many times are you going to let them take your money?
Right, yeah. And that was the other part of the conversation, because I was like, at the end of the day, it's Pokemon Company. I give them fucking money all the goddamn time. Like, I don't feel like, no part of me is like, well, it is Pokemon, and I do love Pokemon, so I guess I'll buy the DLC I don't want. That is never a conversation when it comes to making ancillary purchases for games I already own. But yeah, so that's the Pokemon news. I knew we were gonna get into a discussion about DLC and release dates and stuff like that. We have 20 minutes left. Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris, we're done with news. Chris, how was your week in gaming?
Do you have a big week in gaming?
I have one game I was going to talk about, but I was kind of going to use it as a jumping off point to talk about another discussion I kind of wanted to have.
Okay. I just really want to make a game. I miss making games.
Oh, okay.
I just
Did you not have a big video game week? You want to
I'm leveling up in Elden Ring.
Oh, okay. Then you want me to go over mine and we can make a game? 'Cause
Yeah.
I also kind of want to make a game.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got my 19th platinum. And
Nice.
I know what I said. I said it would be Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, but I got the new Sonic game, and it was a very easy platinum, and that's the conversation I want to have with you. So this game is essentially Sonic, except it's Breath of the Wild, which doesn't seem like it would work well. It worked extremely well. And I would... Are you wanting to make Kaiju Daddy? No. Leave Kaiju Daddy out of this.
Wait, was I there for Kaiju Daddy?
Yeah, it's we were going to do a Kaiju dating sim, and then we got a separate idea for a cryptid dating sim.
Yes. No, that one's already made. Actually, we might as well
already...
put that on the list.
Yeah, we already got
Kaiju Daddy.
We got Keiji Inafune on that one. Wow, a random developer. That's the creator of Mega Man. Anyways, I guess he's gonna make Kaiju Daddy. Is that really what? That's not the name. That's your name, isn't it, Mason? That's not the.
I like Kaiju Daddy.
There's no way I said Kaiju Daddy.
It sounds like Who's Your Daddy, but it's Kaiju Daddy. I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's a good title.
But Who's Your Daddy is a movie about dads, and Kaiju Daddy is a movie about dating. Anyways, I don't care. So Sonic, it's called Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. It worked really well, and I really liked it. It was pretty short, which is refreshing for a Breath of the Wild clone. I'm so used to these games being 400, 500 years long. I have TikTok proof. Oh no. Okay.
Called you out on the TikTok proof.
So, allow me to explain in its simplest terms how this game works, so I can talk about something else. So, you're playing a Sonic. You're running around Breath of the Wild, open world type shit, right? You're solving random puzzles and stuff like that. So the way this game works is when you kill a boss or a mini boss on the overworld, you get a cog. You use the cog to open portals. The portals lead to levels. All those levels are classic Sonic levels, which is really cool. While you're playing the classic Sonic levels, you do sub-missions to unlock keys. You use these keys to unlock the Chaos Emeralds.
Okay.
You get all 7 Chaos Emeralds on one island. You beat the boss. You go to the next island. There's 3 islands: Amy Island, Knuckles Island, and Tails Island, for lack of a better term. So in addition to doing that, you also have to unlock conversations with your friends. So on Amy Island, there's Amy crystals, and the Amy crystals unlock Amy cutscenes. That is necessary to beat the game, but a completely separate mechanic from everything else I explained, okay? So the cogs are in specific places, the keys are in specific places, the Chaos Emeralds are in specific places, the Amy tokens are fucking everywhere, right?
Okay.
So I, being that dude, Amy Island was not that big, not as big as I thought it was. I thought that was the whole game, and I was like, oh, this is just the first island, okay. So before I even started Knuckles Island, I got everything on Amy's Island. I beat every boss, I got every Amy token, I did everything that you could possibly do in the game. I caught every fish, I did literally everything. I go to Knuckles Island. The end of Knuckles Island, they force you to go to Tails Island. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go back on my own to Knuckles Island. And then, while I was on my way back, I noticed that it said Knuckles Island 100%. And I was like, no, I definitely didn't 100% Knuckles Island. So I did some exploring in-game. I took like track of what I did and didn't do, and then I did some Googling, because I literally, I had a fuck ton of Knuckles tokens to collect. I didn't 100% a single portal level. So I was like, what do they mean I 100%ed it? So according to this video game, in order to 100% an island, all you have to do is what's required of you. You do all the main story stuff and all the weird Knuckles side mission stuff. And that is what the game considers 100%. So I download this game Friday. Sunday night, I'm looking down the barrel of a loaded platinum trophy. And I'm just like, that was fucking short. So there are some video games, God of War Ragnarok is a perfect example. You get the platinum trophy, that means all trophies you got. So you've 100% of the game, but you haven't yet. There's 2 small combatless missions to do left in the game. You just wrap up in like a half hour, Some games it's like, some games will go the extra mile where it's like, we have main game and mini games. The platinum trophy is going to be for the main game because we know the mini games are a little like not everyone's thing, stuff like that. Now we're in a situation where in order to get the platinum trophy, I didn't have to 100% the game. And I also didn't have to 100% the game in order to 100% the game by the game's own standards. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
And
I feel like this is leading to a question, so I'm just keeping comments aside.
I think that's ridiculous, and I can't figure out why they did that. Like, I'm not mad about it. I'll take a platinum. Of course I will, right? But, why did they do that? I obviously didn't want... I had a lot of stuff to do, and it said 100%. I had 5 maps that said 100%, and I was like, there's so much shit I could do in this game. And I feel like recently we had to talk about, what trophies mean to the gaming industry and if they're detracting or not. And I was just like, for the first time ever, I really feel like the platinum trophies have swayed my, I'm not going to go 100% the game now. But also, even if there wasn't any trophies, the game told me I 100%ed it. The words 100% were on the screen 5 fucking times, and there was so much shit to collect. You've played Breath of the Wild. You walk up to a thing, you do a thing, you get a little treasure. That's cool. In this game, you walk up to a thing, you do a little thing, you get a Knuckles token. I didn't have all the Knuckles tokens, but it said I 100%ed Knuckles Island. So my only theory is that they did it for the little babies, for like little kids playing this Sonic game, they're like, I 100%ed it.
Well, yeah, you got to keep in mind that it is a kid's game, although I would argue Mario 64 is also a kid's game, and that game's not easy to 100%.
Well, neither is Super Mario Odyssey.
Right.
Keeping it in the realm of new age, like modern day takes on these old characters.
But I think you're right. I think it's for the kids. I also think there's 100%ing a story, right? Like if you want to be real about Mario 64, I could do the game in practically half the stars.
Right.
And I completed the story.
Right.
I guess it's a theoretical conversation of is a philosophical conversation of is 100%ing the story 100%ing the game, or is doing everything the game has to offer 100%ing the game?
Well, and I think that question as a philosophical question stops being philosophical when you introduce trophies, because now we've quantified it. Like, what if Mario 64 had trophies? When would you get the platinum trophy?
And
you know
who
what I mean?
decides the trophies, though?
The developers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think trophies are stupid.
Really? Just flat out, like, you don't?
Yeah, if you 100% the game, let the game tell you that. I don't need PlayStation telling me that I 100%ed a game.
Well, that's why it's up to the developers. That's why some games are like, oh, you got the platinum trophy. That's nice. You still have, that's cute. You still have stuff you have to do. But now we're on the other, I feel like with this Sonic game, we're on the other end of it, where it's like, here's the platinum trophy. There's like half a game's worth of content you technically haven't done yet.
Well, and here's my issue. My other issue with trophies is I don't like getting trophies for moves. What if
For moves? What do you mean?
I'm trying to think of a specific example. Like if I kill somebody in a specific way, and that adds to my trophy. What if that just doesn't work for me?
Those are some of the worst trophies in Trophy Hit. You're talking about the Assassin's Creed 2, like take a spear and trip 5 people at once with those. No, that literally that trophy. My first 100% trophied video game was Assassin's Creed 2, and that one I was working on for probably weeks. It's not easy, and it wasn't like collect all of this, do this 100 times. It was literally just do one thing, but it's super tough, and you're a kid.
Well, that's the point that I'm making. And has that progressed your storyline of the game? Do you feel you've accomplished something that in that game?
No, I definitely feel like that's why I'm not the person who 100%s every game. I pick and choose which platinums I'm going to get. And that's worked out for me so far. I have 19 of the bitches, but because sometimes developers will just flub it, where it's like, kill 1 billion enemies, and it's like, well, I'm never gonna do fucking that. This game's 6 hours long. Resident Evil falls into that a lot, where it's like I'm quantifying the trophies and the in-game challenges and stuff, and I think I'd probably have to play this game's 8 times through in order to get that particular trophy. So I'm gonna go play something else.
Right. No, exactly. That's why, like, I don't. If you 100% the game, you 100% the game, and that's the game, like, how do I put this? That's the developer's choice, but so isn't trophies. But more importantly, I would feel more content 100%ing the game and not having a platinum trophy for said game.
Yeah.
Than I would having a platinum trophy and still having things to do in the game.
Right, yeah. Because I feel whenever not that this comes up often, but if anyone were ever asked me, go through your trophies in front of me right now, I'd feel obligated to explain. I'd feel obligated to be like, I got the platinum for Sonic, but I didn't, it's all bullshit, I didn't do it. And then I'd also feel obligated to be like, this one I didn't 100%, but that's because there's a bullshit trophy that I basically 100%ed the game.
Right.
Like I'd feel like I had to explain myself in situations like that. I think that From Software, the people who make Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Bloodborne, I think they do trophies perfectly. There's always one trophy that's like that is like a little bit like tough out of the way. There's always just one. In Elden Ring, it's collect all the summons. In Bloodborne, it's get all the weapon upgrades or whatever. But then literally every other trophy is just defeat this boss, defeat this boss, defeat this boss, and then there's 3 trophies, 1 for each ending. So play the game 3 times if you want, but you don't have to.
Sure.
I think that's the perfect formula. It's just like play your game.
Yeah.
You'll get trophies along the way.
Well, that I mean, if you're gonna do trophies, that's how they should be. But
well, and that's you keep saying if you're gonna do trophies. Unfortunately, they have to. And there was a moment when I was.
I mean if you're gonna put stock into
oh
the
yes,
trophies.
yeah. And there was a moment, I demoed. I downloaded a free demo of this Sonic game before I bought it. I was like, oh fuck, this game is really good, and I want to keep playing it right now. I bought the demo on Switch. I bought the game on PlayStation because I wanted it to look better. I fucking totally forgot about the trophies. If I was playing on Switch, there wouldn't be trophies, and I'd probably play the game for 3 or 4 more days trying to 100% it as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Except, no, I wouldn't, because the game told me. Now the game is telling me that I 100%ed it, even though I didn't.
Well, that's an issue with the game itself and not trophies. It sounds like they were catering to kids, which is fine.
Dude, I just got to the Halig tree in Elden Ring, and I'm dreading what's coming up.
Which one is that?
That's where she is. It's the secret.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
I
secret
haven't
final
gotten
end
there.
dungeon. My dude, I did not know you were playing through Elden Ring. I hope you like the Halig tree. If you get to a boss and you're like, I don't think I'm leveled up enough, you probably are. They're all really hard. If you can't beat Melania, literally no one is judging you. I didn't do it myself. I got 2 people to help me. I just wanted the trophy.
Sure.
Hilariously enough. And I will fully admit that. I am not ashamed of that. I've never beat the really super hard final boss of the DLC in Bloodborne, my favorite video game of all time. Never beat it myself. Got someone else to help me. And they essentially did it for me. Same with the final boss for Elden Ring. Didn't do that either. But yeah, Melania is just a really fun fight, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about it. Let's make a video game.
I'm down to make a video game.
So, let me find it real quick. Sorry. Here we go. Someone in chat throw down a genre of game. And I think we wanted one that was not don't do horror. Don't do horror and don't do dating sim.
Because we already did Kaiju Daddy.
Well, no, we've just been doing a lot of those.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, someone in chat pick a genre. Chris, I'm gonna need you to go ahead.
22.
22. Let me just make sure. I think we're good though. 22. Okay. Yeah, we can do 22.
Cool. We'll probably wait a few more seconds. If anybody wants to throw a game genre in chat, go for it. If not, we'll probably just come up with one right now.
Our last game, I'm remembering it. It was pretty cool. It's called Somnisilence. It was a horror game where you go through people's dreams like SpongeBob in that one episode.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Very cool.
I think you're going to have to pick genre for us.
Well, no. Okay, then.
Or have a randomizer.
Yeah, you.
Oh, is Jackbox a genre of game?
Party? We could do party. We've done a party. We have a party game based on the Abraham Lincoln assassination.
Oh, that's right.
We already did. I don't want to do party though. I am gonna tilt the scale. I think party would be dumb for this one. Not dumb, just like not a fun conversation to have. Let's let me go to random.org. That was a good idea. I forgot that was like a thing. Get this fucking Pokemon shit off my screen.
I'm not saying these two things are equal. You had a very fair question, Mason, but it gives off his mayonnaise and instrument vibes. Just the way you worded it. It's nothing to do with what you said. That was a fair question. Or beat 'em up, Mason says.
Beat 'em up. I think I'm going to go with what random.com picked.
Okay.
Unless you think that's unfair, because I did ask for... We could do beat 'em up.
Let's do beat 'em up.
Okay.
Let's do beat 'em up, and if we do it quick, we'll do the one that you said too.
Okay. So the genre is beat 'em up. The category, or IP or whatever you want to call it, is cooking.
Oh. Okay, this exists. It's called Burger Time.
No, there's no cooking in Burger Time.
Well,
do you mean Sneak King?
No,
Burger
Time.
Time.
I meant Burger Time.
Burger Time, not a beat 'em up.
No, you're right. It's not.
Burger Time.
It's a platformer.
A platformer. Yeah. Donkey Kong style platformer, like the most loose interpretation of the word platformer there is. No, beat 'em up. We're talking TMNT, Turtles in Time. We're talking Double Dragon. We're talking.
Okay. I've got a very specific concept that I'm formulating here.
Okay, that was quick.
I want to make a Warriors style game, right?
Okay.
But the different gangs are different snack food mascots. So you get the Chips Ahoy,
Okay.
the Chips Ahoy cookies,
Okay.
and you get the Cinnamon Toast Crunch guys.
See, if I may,
Yeah.
a little bit of that definitely sounds cool for a food beat 'em up, but the word is specifically cooking.
Okay.
So
No,
what I
that's
was
fair.
thinking,
That's
here's
fair.
where my head was
yeah,
at.
Yeah.
I think that you need to be like actively cooking. Like I feel like instead of pressing A to punch, you have to like do a combo and like make a flapjack and shoot it at a dude.
So we're thinking a little Overcooked, but there's enemies type of thing.
Essentially what I'm thinking is picture this. Overcooked is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's Overcooked, except you're playing in Turtles in Time.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to make the food in order to kill enemies. So maybe we'll combine it with Overcooked. Maybe an enemy has like an Overcooked style, like I want a burger with this, no tomatoes. You make that, throw it at them, and then
interesting.
and that's how you clear screens. But then you have maybe it's sort of like we can take some rhythm game elements into it, where it's like which actually just pull this right from Overcooked, where it's like it's not a traditional beat 'em up, right? You're not just pressing A to punch, but you do have like now there's 3 guys here. They have their orders. They're gonna keep moving slowly closer to you, kind of Plants vs. Zombies style, and then you have to make an Overcooked meal, throw it to them, and then it pushes them all the way back to the beginning of the screen. Do that 3 times, and they're defeated. Then you get to move on in the level.
I like this. Can I add to it?
Yes, of course.
What if you don't? What if they get too close to you, and now you have to fight them while the other 2 are still getting close to you? They've become disgruntled.
Okay,
and now it becomes like a traditional beat 'em up. You have to fight.
So, okay, that's kind of giving me some Mortal Kombat chess vibes. So the game is my whole cooking thing up until they catch you, and instead of what I was thinking was they catch you, you just take some damage. You're saying like the second they catch you, screen changes. Now we're fighting them with fists, and we have like very rudimentary, like every character has 1 combo they can do, and then you beat them up that way. But you'll get less points or something if you do it that way. Like in order to 100% the stage, you have to do all the cooking stuff. Which 100%ing a stage is not really a thing in beat 'em ups, but I feel like in this one, which is kind of like a hybrid of, I'll say it, the most popular cooking game on the market right now, and a beat 'em up. I think, no, I like this. I like this a lot. I think that could be good.
Cool. I'm trying to think what we could add to it.
Yeah, me too. I think that because I think everything's hilariously as high concept of this game is. I think all the pieces are right there for us. Like I think the difficulty curve is built in. We just take the one from Overcooked. Not the moving platforms and all that stuff. That's all out. The weird wonky kitchens. That's all out. You just have. I feel like making the foods got to be like harder, and I also feel like this, like Overcooked, opens itself up for like multiplayer friendly, where like you play with up to 3 people, and it's like you are only in charge of this guy. Your friend is in charge of this guy, and his friend's in charge of this guy.
I think I want to start fleshing out the story.
Oh, sure, okay.
I think we're in a fast food restaurant.
We're in a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's lunchtime. It's mobbed. I think each level could be different times of the day. I think you're starting off. I think you start off at lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a line of customers, and you do that. You gotta get them 3 times. But they keep getting closer to the counter. You know what I mean? And once they get to the counter, it's like a hop over. And now they're pissed, and now they're fighting you for their food. And if you're playing multiplayer, the other one of you fights, the other people keep fighting off the people with food. But if you're one person, I think you have to kind of multitask. I don't know. I'm struggling with the one person concept on how to make that work, but
I was thinking if you're playing as one person, you still have 3 people you're controlling for the 3 lanes. It's just like the game moves a lot slower because you're one person.
Sure.
Do you want to know what's fascinating to me about what you just brought up? That's how, not Overcooked, but that's how like traditional cooking games work. Like if you download like Happy Pizza or whatever that game's called, or like Cook Serve Delicious, most cooking games, they start at opening and they end at closing, and there's like a lunch. Obviously, it's, they have their own mechanics for how to cook food and stuff, but like this is traditional cooking games. Literally, you start in the morning and then you keep going. There's like a lull, and then there's the lunch rush, and then there's another lull, and then there's the dinner rush. And if you get too many bad orders, they get pissed and you lose points. But now we're bringing it into a situation where like the game, this is so fascinating to me how well this worked. The game is paced like a traditional cooking game where it starts in the morning and you have some people come in, you have, maybe you have a weird one in there, and then you have the lunch rush. And the lunch rush is like a high octane, like we got to get this fucking food out here. And then that keeps going in that formula. But then we have the almost exactly like Plants vs. Zombies. We have the like, if the person reaches you, now it's beat 'em up mode.
Yeah.
Now it's like traditional beat 'em up mode where it's like we're not playing the cooking game anymore. We are throwing hands.
Ready for the story aspect though?
Oh,
I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, go for it. Because right now in my head, there's nothing for story.
I've got us. So I think the game opens with a lunch rush,
Okay.
and I think the manager quits at the end of the lunch rush.
Okay.
Hard black screen.
Ooh, and this is giving me like you're supposed to fill that part vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard black screen. Then it says next day. You come in. There's a new supervisor, and I think manager. And I think during the lulls, like, battle music, it stops for a second. You defeated that level. And there's little cutscenes of you getting to know the other people working with you in the new manager, and how it's working out with him and all the other people in the place. And I don't know how to work this in yet, but I want the manager to be the new manager to be the final boss.
Okay.
But I don't know how to do that yet.
We could do like a like almost like a Good Burger style, like the new manager halfway through the game jumps ship and goes corporate, and you get a new manager. This one is finally like a good guy and you can tell he's good, and then new manager like is hiring people to like order weird shit from you.
Oh.
And then at the end of the game, it's like, well, we got to take this guy down. And then maybe that can be almost like a Destiny 2 raid style. Like everyone's just cooking all their best stuff, throwing it at this guy so we can like stop him. Even though that doesn't really make sense. Like, why are you doing that? But that's the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know what? I feel like for the final boss, I feel like he has 2 phases, and one phase is cooking and one phase is beating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think at that point you have to like break the facade and just be like, this is a video game. That there's going to be a cooking part of this boss, and then once he's full or whatever, there's going to be a punch him part of this boss.
Well, we already indicated a full meter kind of with having to feed people 3 times and then they move on.
Yeah.
So he could just have a huge full meter.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining
Food Wars
this as a game based off Food Wars anime.
We could do a Food Wars tie-in. I've never seen it. I know Pauline likes it, right? Pauline likes Food Wars?
I think so.
Yeah. I've never seen a single frame of it.
We're gonna do a Food War tie-in?
We could, but like what I'm thinking, like Food Wars DLC level down the line or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be a Food Wars game, but I feel like if Food Wars approached us and was like, your game is like our show, we'd be like, yeah, let's fucking do something.
I'm trying to think of a title.
Yeah.
Also, what if the last manager's an alien? That's why he wanted all the weird shit. He's trying to figure out what he's trying to figure out what humans like to eat and what they don't like to eat.
I kind of like he's intentionally fucking with you and sending people to
Okay.
order hard things. Order difficult orders is what I was trying to say.
I want to use fast food and fight
Okay.
somewhere in this title.
Let me see something.
Fast food fury.
We had a beat 'em up. Oh, it was called Blockbusters.
Oh yeah. Great title.
Yeah.
Great title.
Great title for what it is. Not for this game,
No.
of course. I feel like ooh. Hold on. No. Now I'm thinking deep into like the recesses of video game. I feel like beat 'em ups have various like naming conventions. I feel like I'm cooking something. Hold on. I have pieces. It's coming together. I'm thinking like, what were the words you said? Fight and fast food?
Yeah, but now I want to call it. The restaurant's got a name, and it's Fast Burger.
Fast burger. Okay. And you want to put that in the title somehow?
You could be like, now my thought is Fast Burger Fury.
I'm thinking I like where your head is at. I'm kind of thinking we go like full 300% in the other direction of like, let's just name this like every other beat 'em up is named. I'm literally trying to piece together like I'm thinking like Streets of something the fight for fast food or something like that. Like I'm thinking like we take Streets of from Streets of Rage and we take the super long titles that the TMNT games have. And I'm thinking but also like street food is a word, but that's not necessarily what we're going for. We're going for fast food. So maybe like
There could be
maybe like okay, what did you say the restaurant is called?
Fast Burger.
Fast Burger. Okay. What about because I think I like where your head is at, where it's all burgers, because you can really customize burgers in real life.
Mm-hmm.
What about okay. What about Burger Fury, fast food, faster fists. Something like that.
Okay.
Fast food and fast fists. Burger
I like-
Fury, fast food and fast fists.
I like faster.
Fast food,
Faster
faster fists.
Yeah. I like it.
Burger Fury, fast food, faster fists.
I like it.
I'm going to forget. Hold on. I have to do it live. This is our 25th game. Happy anniversary. Burger Fury.
Fast food.
Fast food is all up in there.
Faster fist.
Faster fists.
I think they're
that gives no question when you hear that title. You're like, there's gonna be martial arts in this game, but it also seems like it might be a cooking game. That's the impression I want the title to give off.
There should also be a food truck level.
Hold on, sorry. What did you say? Sorry.
There should be a food truck level.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That could even be the DLC.
Oh.
DLC epilogue where you completely defect from the fast food world and now you're in a food truck.
I like it. What's that called?
The food truck DLC?
Yeah.
Burger
Road.
I think it's got to be Mad Max Burger Road.
That is where my head was at.
I think it's got to. Where the fuck did this document I was just looking at go? There it is. Jesus. I think the DLC has to keep the same naming convention. I think the DLC would have to be like, oh,
Burger Fury, Fast Tires, Faster Fists. I don't know.
I was thinking let's lean all the way into it and we can call the DLC Burger Fury, Fast Food and the Furious. Like literally just the rest and then the rest of it. I want a pun of Fast and the Furious in there.
Okay, I'll take it.
Burger-
It's DLC. It's not the sequel to the game.
Right.
It's the DLC, so I'll take it.
Dude, Graveyard Keeper, all their DLC is puns of TV shows. Hold on, let me see if I can get a quick list because I know we're going over, but it's very amusing.
I'm so tired and hungry at the same time.
Their DLC, it's called Graveyard Keeper. It's like a Stardew Valley game where you tend a graveyard. Their DLC, yeah. Their DLC is called Game of Crone,
Okay.
Stranger Sins, and Better Save Soul.
Awesome.
I thought one of them was Breaking Bad. I was basically right. That's hilarious. All right, Burger Fury, Fast Fist, Faster Fight, fuck it. That was our game. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, let's plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.